So tell me, Mob Entertainment, why did you make this little freak right here? And also another question, why do you hate these little guys? I want you to stare at these things, look at them, look what they could have been, look what you did, you failed them. These characters had so much potential to be good, but you screwed it up, you made them horrible, you could have done so much more to help them. And you might be wondering why they're so bad, that's because they're a copy of their cousins over here. And I don't think Mob Entertainment understands what made the original Smiling Critters so good. So that's why I'm going to be here and explain why the original Smiling Critters are better than Nightmare Critters could ever be. But to talk about the Smiling Critters, you have to talk about Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, the best chapter of the entire game. And the game that turned Poppy Playtime from just a regular old horror game to one of the best horror games ever made. And created characters that me and many other people love to this very day. And with that, the only thing I have to say for you is...
welcome home.
So now we need to talk about what made these little freaks better than those little freaks over there. And the first thing that makes the Smiling Critters better is their personality. And yes, I know the Nightmare Critters have their own personality, but you have to go and look outside of game to find out what their personality is. In Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, you get to see the Smiling Critters' personalities through the cardboard cutouts. And also because they're the focus of the chapter, we get to know a little bit more about them. And because of that, say it with me now, it led to a lot of shipping. They ship these characters so much. With the most popular ship being Catnap and Dog Day. You cannot escape this ship if you tried. It was everywhere. There was so much art of these two characters. You have the most scariest thing in the entire chapter, and you have this funny little dog guy. Of course they would be shipped. There was a guy who animated these two characters to the song The Red Means I Love You. But some of the best animation I ever seen. Like, dear God, all this because of a funny little cat and a funny little dog. But back to talking about our scary, fluffy little cat over there. And the thing that makes the Smiling Critters so good is that they literally are just the characters from that cartoon show. Which I know sounds stupid when I first say it, but most of the monsters we had up until this point have around the same personality as they're supposed to have. But most of them act completely different how they're supposed to act as their characters. And also the two main villains from the last chapter had a lot of anger issues. Which I'm pretty sure those characters aren't supposed to have anger issues, so that's a difference from how they're supposed to act. And probably the best example of the Smiling Critters acting the same as their cartoon counterparts is our good friend Dog Day.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
We already ate your legs, loser! Once we finally get the Dog Day and he starts talking to us, he speaks to us in a way how the cartoon Dog Day would speak to us if he was in the same situation. And from everything we got to know about the cartoon version of Dog Day up until this point, it just feels like something he would say. And we know from Chapter 5 that Playtime Co. tried to make these toys think that they were the actual characters from the show. Another good example of that is everybody's favorite villain, Catnap. Now, the first time you play Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, it feels like Catnap acts completely different to how he's supposed to act. From everything we know about the cartoon version of Catnap, he acts like a tired, lazy cat. He's just a sleepy little guy, a sleepy little fellow. He can hurt you. That thing over there will hurt you, but this thing right here, it wouldn't hurt you. But the more you look into Catnap's character in this chapter, the more he acts like a tired, sleepy cat. And as a person who has 3 tired, sleepy cats, I can tell you what they act like. Now, the first thing that I notice is that Catnap doesn't really ever chase us. He more just kind of like walks slowly to us. Which sounds like something a tired, lazy cat would do. Because why put in all the effort to chase this guy? I'm too tired to do this. Slowly walking after him should be enough. Even when he's actively trying to get you, he still just walks slowly up to you. It kind of feels like he wants to eat you, but he's just too tired to do it. And the other Smiling Critters are also done very well. Throughout the game, you slowly find out more and more about these characters, a little bit more about their personality. And for the entire game, we don't know where these characters are. For all we know, they can be right behind us right now. Until you finally make it to where Dog Day is, and it becomes immediately clear what happened to the rest of them. It's just a fantastic chapter of the game, one of the best chapters ever made. And I'm sure whatever new characters they add to the game will be just as good as these ones. Like, there's no way they add characters exactly like the Smiling Critters and mess it up, right?
He's really... Nah, giraffes, I'm straight.
Mob Entertainment, you had one thing you had to do. You literally only had one thing you had to do. You had one job, one singular job. You had everything set right in front of you to make these guys good characters, but somehow you messed that up. How did you mess that up? Like, I tell you, I love these little guys too, but like, how did you mess them up so badly? Now, I could be wrong about what I'm about to say, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. But I played through the entirety of Chapter 4, and I couldn't find any hints about their personality in this chapter. There wasn't a cardboard cutout explaining their personality, there wasn't a VHS tape telling us more about them. There was actually a VHS tape talking about one of the Smiling Critters. Why couldn't this go to one of the Nightmare Critters? You know, one of the new characters? And I'm just ignoring that these characters were just made for merch. But let me tell you something, Mob Entertainment. You can't just put a funny little guy right in front of us and expect everyone to go in and buy it. Oh, wait a minute. They actually could, because people bought this stuff. I guess you could put a funny little guy right in front of us and tell us nothing about their personalities or anything about them. Oh, but we did tell you about their personalities. We have little descriptions right here. Look, we have little descriptions. They do have personalities. Buddy, I need to look outside the game to even find out what their personality is. That doesn't count. It has to be in the game. Not to mention that these guys work for the doctor, and we don't even know why they do this. Are they manipulated? Are they doing it against their will? We do not know. Do they praise the doctor as a god? Can we please get information about this? Can you give us a little bit of information about them? I just want to say, oh my god, their names. How did you come up with those names? Like, those are some of the worst names I have ever heard. It's almost like you wanted these characters to fail. Like, the Smiling Critters had such memorable names. I want you to tell me what this guy's name is. Try and tell me. I tell you, I couldn't remember what most of these guys' names are if I tried. And it probably makes me more mad than it should because these characters had the potential to be such good characters, but they messed it up. You can literally take these characters out of the game and nothing will change about it. These characters literally add nothing to the game. What is their purpose? But oh, the Nightmare Critters aren't supposed to be the main focus of the chapter. Just because your characters aren't the main focus of the chapter doesn't mean you can't give them any personality at all. Everyone knows that they made these characters just for money, but just because they made the characters for money doesn't mean they couldn't do anything with them. They just had way too much stuff going on in Chapter 4. There was way too many things going on for them to pay attention to one singular thing. There's a lot of bad characters in Chapter 4, but the worst characters are probably the Nightmare Critters. Like, they had everything in front of them to make these characters good, but they just messed it up. They had everything right in front of them. But hey, who needs good characters? Who needs characters that people can actually care about? We don't need that. We can just have a plushie. We heard you guys like plushies, right? Well, here's 1,000 more plushies. Hey, you like plushies? Well, here's 50 million more. Mob Entertainment say they care about their game, but I just don't believe that. They only care about making money. But I'm sure this is all just one big mistake. I mean, they wouldn't do this a second time because they know we hate this, right? They wouldn't do this a second time, right?
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live.
They did it again. They made the Nightmare Critters again, but this time even worse than before. How did you mess up making characters like the Smiling Critters not once, but twice? Oh, but they do have lore in the game. They're the reason why those little monsters exist. Don't you like the little monsters that we made? And to that I say, you tell me the prototype couldn't just come up with that himself? You tell me the prototype just walked around the factory one day and just found this note and went, ooh, that's a good idea, and just started doing that one day. It would probably make the prototype feel more evil if he's the one who came up with the idea. Also, I don't even think you could find the note in the game. Not to mention that the wrong side animals are literally just collectibles, and that's literally all that they are in the game. Like, at least with the Nightmare Critters, they popped up in the game, but these characters, they don't even pop up in the game, well, aside from collectibles that you can miss in the chapter. And just like the Nightmare Critters, they made these characters only for money. I just don't know how they keep messing this up. You have everything right in front of you, you already know how to make good characters, how do you keep messing these little guys up? Can you just make characters that are like the Smiling Critters that you didn't just make for merch and actually make them important for the story? And with that, we're at the end of the video. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you like the video, and bye!